One of my favorite gospel songs that I ever done was Farther Along. Just think it has such a true message to it. It's an old gospel song. Always had just a good melody to it. Anthony always adds great stuff to things like this, so let's try it. Tempted and tried, we're off made wonder how it should be thus all the day long, while there are others living about us, never molested, though in the wrong. Farther along we'll go on down. Farther along we'll understand why. Cheer up, my brother, live in the sunshine. We'll understand it all by and by. When we see Jesus coming in glory, when he comes down from his home in the sky, then we shall meet him in that bright mansion. We'll understand it all by and by. And farther along we'll know about it. Farther along we'll understand why. Cheer up, my brother, live in the sunshine. We'll understand it all by and by. We'll understand it all by and by.
I don't know if any of y'all know me, but my name's Anthony, and this is kind of my channel. So this is my buddy Chris Gentry, and he's doing some songs on the channel, some of which I'll be doing with him and trying to accompany. But he's in, where are you at?
Man, I'm right out of Cleveland, Mississippi, in the Flatland Delta.
That sounds like Jerry Clower. What is it he said? Said a few miles outside of Yazoo, Mississippi,
That's it.
and something. I don't know.
I think we got a few of his cousins around here too.
Yeah, you probably do. So one of the, I guess we could talk about how we met. I remember the way I remember it, which may be wrong, is you going to church and playing in the worship team up at New Hope Baptist Church up there, and I went up there and played with Tony Pierce and with you. You were up there, and I remember Clayton saying, "You got to hear this dude up here. He's more country than you and more talented than you." And I was like, "Well, I got to hear that. At least the country part. I never heard that."
I hope he didn't tell you that in the church.
Well, he did, but they don't mean a lot to a lot of people.
Man, that's pretty well how I remember it. One of the things that I think I sent you a message the other day, and it said that you were an intimidating musician. I know a lot of times, I try to swell your head up a little bit because you really are that good. It was one of those things I remember, I think what turned me on to the whole deal was we were going to do I'll Fly Away.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll Fly Away. And you looked all the way across at me, and you said, "Do you think you can keep up with this guitar player?" I knew right then we were going to be friends.
Yeah, well, that the sound of that music, I didn't know you then, but I know the way it was with the sound of that music, with the banjo and with the guitar, and just the sound of them old songs. If you grew up with those, there's something about them that kind of speaks to you, and words can't really say it. So just hearing that and hearing there's a commonality between people that love that music and that
Right.
culture in general. The old church, especially old Pentecostal. Or it's probably the same across all. I mean, that's a Baptist church we were both in. So,
I don't think I don't think there's a better musician than musicians that play by ear. And of course, doing that, like I said, we were at that church. Brother Tony and them, they like that kind of music too. They're just old country boys.
Right.
It was something that I clicked pretty good with Clayton there, and we had good music and good worship there, and it's something that really brought me back to the Lord. And then when I met you, you'd read the Bible like a dozen times more than me. Then we started going to play at Wilmer's. I think that was probably the scariest I ever been to play music because of the bluegrass culture. It's something you feel when you play that you don't feel in anything else. Nobody's plugged in.
Right.
Most folks aren't mic'd.
Right.
It's just something that you feel, and yeah, man, you brought all that to me.
Yeah, what gets me about it is it's kind of a conversational thing, and because like you said, nobody's mic'd, and you're sitting in a circle, so it's kind of musicians playing for themselves and for each other, and it's such a give and take. It's
Right.
a push and pull kind of thing. It's pretty fun.
You could really, and I'm sure a lot of folks can say this about me too, so I'm not just talking about anybody, but it was the style of music that really taught me, I guess, to sit around and to know when to back off, when to get a little bit louder. Sometimes I think they called me Van Halen there at first. I didn't know anything to do with it, but I really, I knew that I enjoyed the music, and I learned that you didn't have to be as good as everybody in the room for somebody to learn something from you, and you to learn something from them.
That's really the truth.
That's the truth of it, and that type of music allows that.
Yep. Yeah, it kind of gets you back to the basics of playing the music and how simple those little melodies are, and so I guess it's kind of a segue would be, how'd you end up in Mississippi? You're in Mississippi now, and we were hanging out here in Texas, in East Texas before. So what happened there?
My granddad's been a pastor at Pace Pentecostal Church. I was just born and raised in it. I got back into doing the gospel thing while I was in Texas. My granddad got sick. I felt the Lord calling me to an extent that I couldn't stay anymore. I really miss a lot of that. Never really had a musician, that I like to hang around as much as you, as far as a daily deal. But, hey, man, I love the Lord more than I love you. I love the Lord more than I love everything.
Well, that hurts my feelings a little bit, but
I couldn't stay, That's really why I'm back. I came back. I'm so proud to be part of that, by the way. I don't want to talk about it too long and take up a lot of airtime with it, but
we're here to take up airtime.
It's one of those deals that I couldn't be more proud of anything. That and having my kids here to to be a part of it too. Just to be a part of it. Changed my life.
Well, that's good. Depending on what your life was before, that can be pretty good. A life change. so I wanted to ask you. I went over to, you said we went and started picking at Wilmer's house, Wilmer Johnson over here in Longview, and so we went back this morning for the first time in months, and Holly went and we shot some video and that. It was pretty fun with some lights and with some microphones, and me and Art were sitting right up beside each other. So you'll get to see it. You'll be pretty jealous.
Man, Art's the man. He's the Mossman, man.
He is. And I was noticing. I listened to their YouTube channel, which is Caddo Creek Bluegrass, and I went on there, and they've got a few videos up, 20 or so videos. Some of them are from it looks like the late '90s. I think Art's still playing the Gibson guitar, so it's pretty neat. But I noticed that one of the people they follow was Floyd Jasper, and I think that's one of your friends.
Floyd Jasper.
Is that one of your friends?
Might be. I mean, I got a lot of friends that I've met across.
Well, tell me who's the picker? You always tell me the best picker you've ever been around. The fella that you kind of grew up picking with, as far as the bluegrass kind of stuff. What's his name?
That's Floyd Arbuckle.
Arbuckle. Okay.
Yeah. He's the man.
Is he? Is he still picking around?
Yep. Played with him. It's been a couple months ago, I guess, the last time we played together. Yeah, I definitely try to show him up every time we play.
Show him up or show him off?
I try to show him up, but he always turns it around on me.
Well, if you can't do it, I bet he's a pretty good picker, because you got some talent. You got chops.
He's a man. He is the man. Are you doing any hunting or fishing around there this year, or you just kind of? I guess you doing all your recording right now, aren't you?
Yeah, I don't hunt and fish. I didn't even hunt and fish when I was a kid. But all my group do, and they all kind of think I'm a sissy because I don't. But but they all do, and so I started playing sports when I was young, and so I never had time for anything else because of my OCD. And then I got grown. I started playing music, and now I'm 44, so that's kind of how it's going.
I guess about half the songs that I wrote and stuff come somewhere from around a creek bank or woods or something. Yeah, I'm still writing those type songs. Just most of them got Jesus somewhere.
Right. Yeah. Well, you get a lot of good songs walking through the woods. And I grew up in the woods. Don't get me wrong, but thinking about sports and that kind of stuff.
Well, look, I know this is your show and all, but I would like to say you bought a dobro there right before the last time I come and sat and played. I don't know if you know. Anyway, I recorded that on my phone, which was pretty cool, and I just wanted to tell everybody that since he's this far away, that I can kind of call him a storyteller, because at one point we were on a trailer one time, and I looked at him and I said, "Listen, I don't play the banjo and you don't play the guitar." He never told me he could play the guitar, and then you find out he can pick up anything and play, and that's just something to be marveled at, man. It's a pleasure to play with stuff like that. The bluegrass thing, I know your wife's kind of her song. It's just one of those deals that if you've ever sat down with a good guitar in your lap and it's up next to you, and you're sitting around with a bunch of guys that are playing the same thing that you're playing. I don't think until you've actually done that you realize how good, how natural, and how just down to the point and down to earth that is.
Yeah, it does.
It takes me back to all my gospel roots. I love it.
It grabs you on the inside, the thump of that guitar, and everybody's on the same meter, and it's a strong rhythm.
Where did you start playing all of your instruments? What drives you? How do you pick up a dobro and that fast? Just pick something up and you can hear. You're always better at melodies than I was. I'm just a hot shot player.
I tell you, just starting to play. I started playing the guitar when I was 19 or 20. I'd played a little bit of keyboard and piano before that, but we grew up with that music, that Southern gospel, and then the bluegrass. It's similar music, but it uses different instruments.
Right.
So I think it has more to do with, I didn't, when you said that to me about playing the guitar, it's probably true because I hadn't played the guitar in 3 or 4 years, and I'm so OCD. I played the guitar for 15 years, but then when I got a banjo, I didn't touch it. I didn't touch a guitar from 2012 to 2015 maybe. And I was playing the banjo 5 or 6 hours a day, waking up at 2 or 3, playing until time to work, and then working all day, coming home, going to bed happy, knowing I was going to wake up and pick. So I can be pretty OCD. But then, being around guitar pickers, really good bluegrass guitar pickers, while I'm sitting there playing the banjo, somehow that just kind of translated to me when I picked the guitar back up. In a week, I was doing all the licks, because it just kind of gets in you. I mean, that music does, it just kind of, you absorb it if you're listening. So that's kind of what happened. And the mandolin's kind of the same way, and the dobro. It's a whole different animal, but
you're able to hear more of them than I am.
Well, it's pretty simple stuff.
Well, is Wilmer and them doing pretty good right now? Is everybody same group still there?
Same group. Well, Byron didn't come, but Joanne came, and and WW, and everybody was there.
Man, that's good stuff.
It brought back a lot of memories.
Some of the best memories of my life, for sure.
So let's talk some about the songs that we did that we are kind of in the process of still doing. The Farther Along, and let's talk about Farther Along. How'd you come? Why do you like that song so much?
Man, I love the thought and the knowledge that I know that sooner or later, I'm going to know the reason for everything. Right. Some of it, I think some of us might think that it means a little something else. I think Farther Along, a lot of stuff I'm seeing now that I thought that, maybe playing and singing that song in my younger days, I thought that maybe that was, farther along when we meet Jesus. Right. I'm finding things right now. It's like, man, at the time when that happened, right, I thought it was horrible. Mm-hmm. Why in the world would I go through that? And then, farther along, you realize this is why. Right. This is where you needed to be. This is what you need to be doing. Yeah, so I think that's why. That, along with, I know you could throw some highs in there that's crazy. If I could hold the words right. It's hard to sing with somebody not in the room.
No, yeah, I like that. I like that song too. I'm just listening to you sing it. I know it enough to sing back up, but I don't know the words to the verses. It was never in any of our repertoire. So, right. But hearing you sing those
Stanley
verses,
did too.
It's really neat, though. I mean, it really is the rock bottom of being a Christian and being a person of faith is the hope. The hope that tomorrow has a shot, or at some point, maybe tomorrow will go down. Maybe we're heading downhill now. Maybe it feels that way, because maybe it is. But our hope is for the promises that God's made to us, people of faith. So
we got to keep the word faith. The fact that you were just using hope and faith so much in the same sentence. I brought that up to the congregation last Sunday about, right now the word faith is trying to be pushed out, but everyone's wanting to hope for something. Right. They don't realize that without faith, you have no hope.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Faith's the solid ground for hope.
That's it. Sure. And farther along, we're going to know all about that too.
I guess. Well, hopefully.
Yeah.
Although if you get it any more figured out, this world ain't going to be able to contend with you.
That's it. You try to anyway. I think we try to make it as simple as we can.
That's all you can do.
Growing up, it was made a lot. Anyway, we're trying to make this thing where it's easy for people to find God and to feel Him and love Him, and do it by standing on the truth, the foundation.
Yeah, the Bible says a lot of stuff, and I know we're getting into theology and stuff. The Bible says a lot of stuff pretty explicitly. There's one God. Jesus is the Son of that God. That's pretty simple. That's kind of I don't know how many words that was, but if you boil the whole thing down to 7 words, that's what the Bible says. There's one God who created all this. Jesus is His Son. So
right. Word for word.
it's pretty simple. But you can go. I mean, imagine the pages and the ink spilt over trying to explain what that means. When it just means what it means. You know what it means.
Right. It says exactly what it means.
Mm-hmm.
To add any more to it just causes confusion to me.
Yeah, it does to me too. So tell me a little bit about that guitar behind you. It's a good looking unit. Man,
I'm trying to remember if I said the opening date of the church right a while ago and didn't get it mixed up. This is a 1958 Gibson. I want to say it's called a GL1.
Well, I thought you texted me LG1. So,
hey, one of the two. LG, GL. I'd have to find it in here. I had to find there was a piece of the serial number left right at the bottom of the neck on the inside of the sound hole, and I was able to find what year it was.
Really?
And I know that it's got the cross brace, and I know that one, what I said, is right because the 2 has cross bracing. This one has ladder bracing. But this was my granddad's first church guitar. This is the first guitar that he was swinging Jesus with. And
he got some guitars.
It was pretty cool. He's got this one. My uncle has another Gibson he had. And then I have the Martin 35, the D35. All of them have just things just running out the pores of them. You can smell the old wood in them, man. You can smell this thing now. But got a few cracks.
Oh,
but
really?
it has its own sound.
How does it sound relative
cool
to that
guitar.
D35? I kind of know what the D35s sound like because they kind of have their sound.
I'm kind of biased to that D35, so I might plead the fifth on that. And putting down my granddad's Gibson over here. There's nothing that I own sounds better than that Martin, so I'll just leave that like that.
Yeah,
that's the truth.
They've got a certain old sound. I mean, it just sounds. There's a deep, but also a sparkle that it's hard to reproduce for sure.
A lot of bass in that 35 for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but it don't lose anything at the top either.
No, that Gibson's a cool thing to look at, man.
Mm-hmm. So let's see, what else we want to talk about? How's your kids and your family? You got what's going on with them?
Man, they are running wild. We just got back from my dad's house today. We took him to see their granddad, and he had broke his hip and all that good business, but he's getting good and strong. And they come to church over here with me. Levi sits up and plays the piano with my mom, son.
Really?
And yeah, Dakota's got his own little guitar. He sits up there with me, and we jam out, man. Just bringing them into it. I enjoy it. We do a little fishing, a little bit of hunting. Dakota's finally got old enough to do that. Olivia, every time she's here, she sings with my mom. So, yeah, man, I enjoy it. I couldn't give them a better gift. I think my granddad gave me the best gift ever in doing what I'm doing now. So I would hope that one of them catches hold to it too.
Yeah, if you're talking about being in the church, being in that culture, and being in the music culture of the church, especially that style of music, there's not a lot of that around anymore. And when people say they go to church, they don't do what y'all are doing up there.
No, we have good services. We have. I tell you what we really promote though. What we really promote is the truth. Without getting all into like we were talking about with theology and everything, I think that if it's not biblical, then that was the word given to me from God.
Yeah.
Is that Bible to read, and I think that if you're doing anything wavering for what it says, most of it's very simple. And that's what we try to do here, and that's something that I did get from my granddad, just from the years that he was here. This land out here is different, man. This isn't some normal little piece of flat land. We're out here in the country.
Yeah.
And I love it. I love every bit of it. When I was a kid, I was the point guard in basketball. Right? I almost just missed that clap now, if that tells you anything about what's going on with my coordination at 46.
Are you 46?
46.
I thought you were younger than me all this time.
No, sir, buddy.
Well, good.
It's these nice eyebrows.
That nice coif of hair you got.
Yeah.
Shock.
Yeah.
If it's red hair, you got to call it a shock.
I knew we'd take the hat off. with all
Man,
kind of
look at it.
clashes.
That's a match. That ain't no clash.
You know, I do at my age, though. No, I ain't taking no shots here, partner. But I do at my age take my hat off from time to time because most folks my age, you know, they're a little bit shy up there.
Yeah, me too. I'm shy, but but I wear a hat all the time. I have people ask me, "Do you even have hair?"
Yeah.
Yeah, I got some. They know,
Yeah.
it'd be probably look better if my scalp wasn't lily white underneath it.
Listen, I'm redheaded, and it's kind of like any minority of any other type. I get asked all the time. Hey, yeah. I knew a guy in Ohio. He was a redheaded guy named Danny Smith. You know him?
No, you don't.
Yeah, I do get that stuff all the
That's
time.
stupid. Y'all should have a club.
That's what I'm telling you.
Y'all are down around like probably 1%, probably the population.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's horrible.
Yep.
There need to be more of us. I think Levi's got a little bit of those highlights in the sun, but
He does.
he's still a little smarter and quieter than
That
me.
dark hair and them brown eyes, that's a strong gene. It's hard to break into that.
Man. Hey, you know Levi, right? Levi. He's got green eyes
Does
and
he?
brownish red hair. Yeah.
Is that right?
Yes,
Must have some
indeed.
strong. That Gentry blood is strong.
Man, got to have something.
All
Got to
right.
have something.
So let's talk about, we already talked about Farther Along, and we want to talk about the other one we're doing, which is Daniel Pray, the bluegrass song. And I think there's a few other people that have done it. Probably everybody has done it. So what is it about that song that drew you to it?
That song has a drive to it.
Mm-hmm.
And if you hit the rhythm right on that, it has a drive to it. And then when you take the message and you put all that in, it's really an exciting story. You know, well, at the end of that, the lions were hungry, by the way. So science needs to, they have to take that out. Just the fact that somebody had that much faith to not only did he go in and not be eaten in the lion's den,
Right.
he went in not even fearing that he would be eaten in the lion's den.
You think so?
Yeah, I believe that.
Well, I'd be scared.
I think to have faith like that is something else, man.
Well,
Yeah.
I think about it like I get Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego in the same book there in Daniel. What they said was, our God's powerful to save us, but even if he don't, we ain't bowing down. And
Right.
that's the only faith I'm capable of. If Daniel wasn't scared, and he's way more of a man than me, I'd be scared, but I don't have no choice to whether or not I can back down.
That song speaks tons, though.
Yeah,
It's
it does.
Man, he prayed every morning, noon, and night. So it's just one of those that it pumps my faith up for sure. We do another song here called "God Put a Rainbow in the Sky," and the thing that makes me love that song is the same. It's just teaching faith.
Right.
We got faith. We're gonna be happy in the end of this thing. I for sure am, and I would love to have a prayer life like Daniel had. For sure.
He definitely believed it. He had reason to believe.
Yes, indeed.
In his God over what he thought the consequences might be. So, that's
And there
impressive.
again, I knew that you could do a few things with me on that song. It's for people don't know, it's a little tougher than what you think. It's definitely challenging, and it makes me want to play better.
Yeah, it is a challenge. There's all kind of technical challenges that go along with it, but just the picking of it is a challenge. Just that by itself. So that's pretty tough.
I found myself. I guess it was kind of a habit. I would get all the words and play the music all right about the fifth or sixth take, and I would realize that I looked like a zombie sitting up there because I'd done it. So then you have to go back. Video adds a whole different thing. When you put this ugly mug on something, you got to do something.
Yeah,
you got to make sure you're perfect with something.
Clench your jaw or something. Make sure that's just right.
Don't chew gum. Chewing gum make you sit on your desk. Hey, speaking of that, tell a funny story. When I was I don't want to take up all your show, but this is good stuff. When I was a kid, I was always told, quit chewing gum, Quit eating that candy up there on the roster. It was always for a different reason, though, than what happened to me years later. I had a peppermint stuck in the side of my mouth. And it came time, and man, Arbuckle, the guy I was talking about earlier, Floyd, he was just ripping one off. It was crazy on the guitar over there. And we went to come back in, and I think we were singing maybe Elijah's was a song that we done. We were singing that song, and I went to shift that peppermint back over to the side of my mouth. I spit all over the mic, him, and we were during a camp meeting, about 200 people here, and he looked at me and he said, when church is over, you going to wipe that off, boy.
Yeah, that's funny. So tell me about you learning how to pick. What age did you start picking and the guitar, and what made you want to?
Probably 9 or 10. The guy I was just talking about said that he would teach us some chords. He taught us G, C, D, and then he run us through all the chords. So we learned, A, 1, 2, 3, B, 1, 2, 3 is how it started. But we always been in a Pentecostal church or in that type of environment. We always needed another musician somewhere. Right. So I started out on drums about 4. Somewhere at 7 or 8, I was trying to play the bass. Then we picked up rhythm guitar and started playing it. I really didn't learn to pick anything much until a few years later when I was actually out of church for a while. A lot of things I'd seen.
We're going to have to bleep a lot of this out for the church.
Started coming back. No, we'll be all right. But when I came back, I started watching Floyd a little bit more. Once I kind of knew what he was doing, I learned some of what he was doing through playing the bass. When I moved to Texas, I started playing and with Clayton and them, and I really picked up a lot more stuff there because I was able to play only lead. I didn't have to play no rhythm, no nothing. So I learned all kind of junk doing that. Then when I went with you, it was bluegrass licks.
Yeah, Clayton's a strong rhythm player. He's a good, strong rhythm player. So that kind of freed you up.
It did.
And that's the first time I heard you play. You were real smooth on that electric. I was like, well, he ain't never going to make it in bluegrass. He's going to build up some calluses.
And it wasn't until I went with you and you said something about a G run, and I thought, what is that? Is it some type of marathon they doing uptown? I don't know what we're doing with a G run. But when I seen that, I figured out, and then you shot at me, I think it was Larry Sparks at first, which I can't play none of that. He's got some wild stuff. But I was able to pick up a little bit from Tony Rice, as much as you can with that. But yeah, you told me about both of those. That was my bluegrass start anyway.
Yeah, you can learn a lot from them just listening. They both play some simpler stuff, and that's the thing about bluegrass. It's basically simple, but it's just there's some decorative stuff they kind of throw on top of it. Because there's usually just the one guitar in the bluegrass unit, and then you got to kind of be the whole thing. So the flat picking has to be pretty simple because you got to carry the rhythm too.
Some of them guys make me want to put my guitar down. They're so fast. You play a lot of different stuff that I don't know how to play. Clayton, the guy we were talking about a while ago, the last time I talked to him, we were talking, and he was saying that he wasn't in the league that we were in, and I said, man, in what you do, you do so much more than I know how to do. I'm not in your league in that, and I knew nothing about bluegrass really, other than playing country gospel when I first went with you.
Yeah, that's funny how that is, and you can, I'm the same way with you. I don't know how to do any of the stuff you do, but that lets us play pretty well together because it kind of complements each other because we're doing whole different things with the same instrument. So.
Man, I just enjoy it. I like watching them fingers over there. I like making you nervous a little bit, same way you like me making me nervous. I have no idea what you're going to throw in some of that stuff. But it definitely always pushed me to play better.
Bluegrass, it's kind of all improv, so you got to be ready to do it, and you're just not always ready to do it. Even the best are not always ready. So
we played at when we played at that, was it the Hannah House?
Oh yeah,
we did
up
for
on
benefit.
The back of that trailer.
Man, I just remember the heat and that, and the wind blowing, and I thought at one point, hey, yay, the wind's blowing, and then I remember thinking, hey, no, it feels like a rotisserie. I think it's cooking us quicker. That was a good time too.
It was pretty fun. Yeah, I enjoyed that.
Definitely different.
Yep, but I remember the same thing as you, how hot it was.
It was hot, man. That wind was blowing.
And
I thought my daughter got kidnapped. You remember? Did I ever say anything to you about that?
I don't think you did.
Yeah, I think I was trying to pretend like I was a good daddy and not tell anybody until the end.
No, I don't remember that.
She was sitting right in front of me out there, and she just disappeared. I found her brand new hat that I bought her. So I was thinking, my gracious, what am I going to do if I can't find Olivia? I should have known better. Look, she had gone over there and broke in line and talked that guy into letting her be the one that got dunked in the dunking booth. So I found her in the dunking booth over there. She done conned him into doing that, but yeah. Definitely scared me.
Father of the Year.
Father of the Year.
Well,
definitely makes you feel that way.
Where can people find you on the internet? Do you have a YouTube page or do you have a Instagram or any of that stuff?
I do. I have a YouTube page that's Chris Gentry. I put a picture on there because Miss Holly told me that I needed one on there. And my Facebook is Chris Gentry. And my Instagram is Chris G. I think's what it is. Or
at
Rusty
Chris
G.
Or at Rusty G. Is that how you say that?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's Twitter. I don't know. But we'll put it up. We'll post it on the screen here. So all Chris's stuff is going to be right down here below us somewhere, or here, or here. So
this is good stuff.
Somewhere.
I'm fired up, man.
So,
hey, when you gonna start playing the harmonica?
I ain't. I got enough stuff to learn over here. Going back over to Wilmer's, I feel like I'm starting over. Because, them fellas pick most of them pick every day. And I pick once a week. And that it's like you say, it's a whole different thing picking with a group.
Yeah.
My fingers hurt. I play every day for probably an hour a day. But my fingers hurt today because you're just bearing down a little bit more. I don't know. It's weird.
I've never played 5 hours at a time like that.
It's a chunk.
I remember my fingers ached for 3 days the first time we played.
Yeah, and it goes by quick. It's not like it drags out. I'm just plumb wore out at the end of it. Like
can't feel your legs no more.
Yeah, like we came home straight home, and I'd laughed at Holly and then took a nap. So.
Laughed at her, right?
Yeah, you laughed at her over there snoring.
Laying over there asleep,
and then woke up 30 minutes later. So be sure to follow Chris on all his channels and page, and we appreciate y'all coming by and watching our video. And you look at our stuff, subscribe to all our stuff, and click on the bell to get notifications, that kind of stuff. And we sure appreciate y'all stopping by.
Hey,
Chris,
I want to read one more thing on my way out here.
Take us home.
All right. This is at Matthew 11:28. It says, "Come to me, all who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest." If you having trouble resting, find yourself one of these right here.
Hey, that's a fact.
Right? That's better than anything that you can take, drink, or anything. This is where it's at right here. Sure. Look, thank y'all for having me on your show from here in the Flat Delta out here. It's been an amazing time, man. I definitely appreciate it, and we definitely want to get back and do this again. Thank you, Anthony, and thank you, Holly.
Appreciate you. All right, man.
Do a little Daniel Pray Delta style. I heard about a man one day who wasted not his time away, but he prayed to God every morning, noon and night. He did not care to ring the bell, trusted the one who never fails, and you'll pray every morning, noon and night. Oh, Daniel served God while upon this earth he tried, and you'll pray every morning, noon and night. He cared not for feet, trusted God to set him free, and you'll pray every morning, noon and night. jaws were unlocked, made them shout. God soon brought him safely out, and he'll pray every morning, noon and night. Oh, Daniel served living God, all upon this earth he trod, and you'll pray every morning, noon and night. Did not walk in the creed, trusted God, said